Hello, everybody. It's another wonderful day, another beer review, TV Ramble, Gene Henderson Pierre. And today we are reviewing Busch Ice. Introduced in 1995 by Anheuser-Busch. Of course, they had another beer they had introduced that same year, another ice beer from their brand, Bud Ice. As you well know, the ice beer craze that began in actually started in 93. And it depends on who you talk to, whether it be the people from Molson or the people from Labette. They say they were the ones who created it first, but of course their respective brand, Molson with Molson Ice and Labette with Labette Ice. I've had the Labette Bleu, a very good beer, by the way. Anyway, back to Busch Ice, of course. 5.9% ABV, pale lager. You can smell out of the corn like you do in some malt liquors, but this is not as overpowering as those. When they say about it's basically a special type of beer, ice beers. They do some form of fractional freezing. Most of these ice beers tend to have a very higher alcohol content, whether it's 5 point something, 5.4, and upwards, usually between 5.9 or 6 or maybe 6.2%, whatever. And it's one of these beers that you put in the freezer and you freeze a lot, and keep extra cold. Perfect beer to have in the summertime. Again, these beers were, of course, Ice House was the first. Of course, those two beers. Then, of course, Ice House came on the scene in 1994. Of course, that really took off and did very well by Plank Road Brewery. Of course, that company, as well as Molson, bought by Miller in the mid 90s. Of course, you have they've come out with other beers, ice beers. Of course, I mentioned Anheuser-Busch with Bud Ice, and then of course the Natural Ice brand from the Natural line came out. Keystone Ice. But Ice House, I would say, has probably been the most successful. This one, I found this at a local grocery store, not grocery store, a local gas station, and I saw this in cans. And this beer is very rarely found here in the Mobile area. But I said, I bought it, and I said, well, if I buy it, I'll try to do a review of it. Pale lager, 5.9% ABV. You could say it's borderline sort of malt liquor, but like I said, it doesn't have that overpowering feel to it. It's a very warm day out here today, and it's very, very smooth and very perfect to have this. I very rarely could find Busch Ice in this town, but so Beer Advocate gives it a 60 or 58. I'm not sure. They don't like it. Rate Beer, they didn't mention anything about it, which tells you I think it's non-active. I'll give it a 1, which they don't really even fond of it. Those two more so. I would say Rate Beer. I don't know. They just seem to be negative against any macro lager or that's out there. It's going on pretty smooth. Like I said, I saw a couple of cans of these, and I should have bought more. I got some little finger rips I'm eating here right now, which goes great with this. You know, what can you say? I've always liked ice beers. I've always been a fan of them. I tend to buy Bud Ice a lot and Natural Ice, but Bud Ice is 5.5%, and while the others I mentioned, Keystone Ice, Natural Ice, this one here, Busch Ice that I'm drinking. All right. or at 5.9. So 5.5 is pretty decent, very smooth. But this is not bad. You know, I could drink like a pound a lot of these, put in my cooler, hang out with some friends, you know, and of course, a lot of these beers, as you know, when they came out on the scene, were reasonably priced. Now they're considered, you know, budget beers or quarter junk beers or shit beers, people like to call them. But for the price point, they're very good, and I think they have a place, in my opinion. Again, ribs, some chips, like some dill pickle chips, would be great with this. Um, this is pretty good. I'm really liking this. Took enough sips of this already. Um, Again, the price point. I saw this for about a can was about 75, yeah, about 75 cents plus tax, whatever, here in Mobile. So imagine like a 6 pack of this. My local grocery store, Rouse's, Ice House, they sell a lot, tons of this stuff. That's about see about for 12 pack bottles or cans, it's about 7.89. You know, for a 12 pack. Sun is shining right now down on me. So um, for a case for 12 pack, excuse me. Imagine we don't see 24 packs of these beers. I do see a 24 pack from time to time of Keystone Ice. Excuse me. They run about 12.88 and change. So for all those beers, about well worth it to get and share with friends and sit outside and hang out, or say at barbecues. I wouldn't be ashamed to bring this. They got your crowds. Certain folks, I would say, if I'll bring this to a crowd that I know they'll like ice beers. Where I hate to say, sadly, to have to say this, but if I was going to another cookout and I brought this beer, say around my folks, let's put it that way. I hate to say that, but if I brought this, they would run me out of the barbecue. Like, what the hell are you bringing this shit here for? So, but unfortunately, they're so some are stuck on Bud Light and Miller Light and thinking that's the only beer, Budweiser, and that's the only beer that's ever been made. But but I digress. But um, it's a good beer. I like it a lot. And tell me your thoughts on it. On Busch Ice, 5.9%, Anheuser-Busch InBev, the makers of this beer. Still out there in certain places. I said I've seen it recently, lately, in a very small, certain spots in Mobile, but it's probably sold a lot where you are. So anyway, leave your statements and your comments about this beer. I give this beer a B. Very good ice beer. Excuse me. Let me take that back. In terms of the ice beer category, I give this. I give this a. I give this a B plus. So anyway, again, good with the ribs. Give me your thoughts. Tell me what you think about Busch Ice, if you like it or not. And thanks again for watching. And everyone, cheers.